It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Grand slams, no-hitters, and double plays are back, and there's no better place to get in on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's because right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up, place your first bet, and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win. So don't miss your chance to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball.
The man has ice in his veins. Alex Kerfoot, Game 4 hero for the Buds in overtime. And the Maple Leafs head back home with a chance to close out the series in round 1 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So much to break down. Let's get right to it.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I am your host, Steele Roden. I graduated from the College of Sports Media in downtown Toronto, worked for OUA TV, and I've been a part of the Locked On Podcast Network for over a year now. Flying solo again. Flip, enjoying a beautiful trip with his wife in Italy. I wish I could be there. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. Wish I could be there with you, bud. Next time you'll have to take me, sneak me in your luggage. But flying solo again, so much to break down. We will get to every single series that happened Monday night. But first, this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. An incredible app. I will be using it a ton this summer for some Vancouver Whitecap games. But we got to talk about hockey right now. We got to talk about fantasy, and we got to talk about the NHL playoffs. So much to break down. New Jersey Devils able to tie up the series on the road against the Rangers. But we have to start with the craziest comeback in NHL history postseason ever. Maybe just for my eyes, because I'm only 23 years old, so I haven't been along for a while. Haven't been here for a long time. But it was the greatest comeback, even better than the Edmonton Oilers over the weekend. 4-1 in the third period, and 3 straight goals in the span of 6 minutes for the Toronto Maple Leafs. My heart is still pumping from watching that game, jumping off the walls. It was so intense and so crazy, but the best outcome possible for the Toronto Maple Leafs and all Maple Leaf fans. Incredible comeback. Victory 5-4 in overtime to take a 3-1 series lead. Absolutely incredible what they've been able to accomplish. Down and out, it seems like, but able to crawl back in the third period. That's where I want to start with this conversation, because I've been hearing a lot of chatter on Twitter, non-Leaf fans, even Leaf fans, just chipping away at how poor they have started in the first period. And you're right. They have been the worst team to start, it seems like, ever. The first period is just not the friend of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I was going through the numbers over here. Tampa has outscored the Leafs 7-5 in the first period, 7-6 in the second period. So the numbers don't jump out automatically or right away. It's nothing too scary, but when you've actually watched the game, just, the passing of the puck, just nowhere to be found. Didn't seem like there was any chemistry in the first period. Lackadaisical play, not finishing checks, quite a few turnovers. And we've seen the Tampa Bay Lightning many, many times start out hot and just take over games. But luckily, the Leafs have done so to crawl back in the third period, because the Leafs have actually outscored the Lightning 6-2 in the third period so far this series. And that's what they're best at. It's their best period. Second period might be their best in the regular season, but the third period has been their best so far in the playoffs. And they've dominated so far the third period. They've won both games in overtime, have a 3-1 series lead. And I've got to show some love to those superstars on the Toronto Maple Leafs up front, because they showed up when it mattered. down 4-1 in the third period with 10 minutes left. Matthews, 2 goals. Marner gets another 2-point night. Also, my over 1.5 for Mitch Marner bangs out like expected. He's got 2 points every single night, 2+ points every single night. But again, Matthews, 2 incredible goals to get the Leafs back into the game. Morgan Rielly with another seeing eye point shot to tie it up. But for me, even with that all being said, I think the best player so far for the Toronto Maple Leafs this series has been Ryan O'Reilly. What a player, what a playoff player he is, because he had an abysmal regular season, obviously with the St. Louis Blues, joining the Toronto Maple Leafs at the trade deadline. But he has been the best and most consistent player for the Toronto Maple Leafs this postseason. 2 goals, now 7 points total in 4 games. He's 61.36% on faceoffs. He's been incredible so far. He's their go-to guy, and he was the big reason why Morgan Rielly was able to get that overtime winner in Game 3, wins the faceoff right back to him, and he puts it on net. So for me, Ryan O'Reilly has been absolutely the best player for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I will continue to say that for the games moving forward. Gotta show some love everywhere else, though. Matthew Knies, he's been awesome to watch so far. The rookie, he's been in the lineup, and the Leafs haven't lost a game yet, even back to the regular season. So every time he's been in the lineup, he's 6-0 so far, both regular season and in the playoffs now. He only got 14.5 minutes of ice time, maybe 15 minutes, but he saved a goal, a huge goal that almost crossed the line, was probably 2 inches from being a goal, and he pulled it right off the line in the blue crease. A great player. He's making a few mistakes out there, giving the puck away, being afraid to take a check, and that's understandable as a rookie in a playoff experience like this going up against Tampa. So can't shake him for that too much, but he's been absolutely incredible so far. Saved a goal. He's actually been on the ice for both overtime goals for the Maple Leafs as well. So he's been phenomenal. Got to show some love to the blue line as well. Mark Giordano, Justin Hall, Jake McCabe. Those guys have been putting their body on the line every single game. 46 hits, 28 blocks in Game 4. They're out hitting. They're out blocking the Tampa Bay Lightning right now, and that is playing a part. Ilya Samsonov didn't have a great game, but he played great in the third period and overtime when it mattered most. He was making some unbelievable saves down the stretch to keep them in the game and even keep it tied at some points down in the last 2 minutes of the game. So show some love to all of the players on the Toronto Maple Leafs because everyone stepped out in Game 1. Talking about goalies, though, I've been tweeting about Vasilevsky all season long, and he is still one of the best goaltenders in the league right now, but he has been just not as consistent this year. I've said it many, many times. It just looks like he's played too much hockey over the last 3 to 4 years. Obviously, deep playoff runs, wins 2 Stanley Cups, Stanley Cup finals last year as well. Unfortunately, they lost against the Colorado Avalanche, but it just seems like he's not on his A game. He is making a few incredible stops, but there's also a few stops that he should probably have. And it's been like that throughout the regular season. Obviously at the point in the regular season, we were talking about fantasy hockey. Now we're just talking about play itself. But that's what the Leafs got to do. They got to put pucks on net. They got to get in front of his grill, and they got to look for those deflections because 2 of those last 3 goals were tipped in front of him net, changing direction beautifully by Matthews and by Alex Kerfoot on the overtime winner. But for all Leaf fans out there, stay humble. Don't celebrate too early. They still need to close the series out, and I believe they can. Leafs do need to show up, though, in the first period for Game 5. Absolutely incredible comeback. We will get to the Rangers and Devils. Did not see that coming. Devils tied the series 2 apiece. Both teams winning both games on the road. Didn't see that coming. Of course, we will get to the Golden Knights versus Jets. Jets losing some bodies right now. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out for the remainder of the series. And of course, the Avalanche and Kraken still battling away as I speak. We will get to all of that. And of course, big time bets. But what you need to hear first, this episode is also brought to you by Indeed. When you're drafting your fantasy team, do you ever wish you could handpick the best stars for your business? If you're building your talent roster, you need Indeed right now. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you can do it all on Indeed. It's right there. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like matching, assessments, and virtual interviews. You hate waiting? Indeed's US data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. Candidates you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search. Indeed does the hard hiring work for you. Sponsor a job and we'll match you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your job description right when you post. Join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have requirements. Visit Indeed.com/lockedon to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. You need to hire. You need Indeed.
Attention shoppers, we now have Taste in the Bread aisle with Dave's Killer Bread. I'm David Harrison of the Locked On Commanders podcast, and that's right, an organic bread that's no longer a sedative for your taste buds. Dave's Killer Bread is on a mission to make the most of the loaf, to rid the world of GMOs, high fructose corn syrup, and artificial ingredients, and plant the seeds of good in all that they bake. Killer taste, killer texture, always organic. Dave's Killer Bread, bread amplified.
And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. We appreciate you tuning in every single day. Make sure you go hit the subscribe, hit the follow button, and make sure you're tuning in the rest of the week. The playoffs aren't over. They're going on all the way till June. You'll love to see it. But let's get over to that New York Rangers, New Jersey Devils series. Of course, we will get to the other matchups. But this one I just did not see coming from the New Jersey Devils. Maybe I was the only one out there by myself, but I just didn't see it. The Rangers were up 2-0 on the road in the first 2 games. I thought at least they would get one back home at Madison Square Garden, but that just was not the case. The coaching decision to remove Vitek Vanacek and put Akira Schmidt in net has given the New Jersey Devils life. A 0.91 goals against average and a .966 save percentage. 2 starts in the postseason, 2 wins in the postseason. He has been absolutely incredible. Just watching the game highlights from that Devils Rangers Game 4 action, it was back and forth. It was a close game, 3-1 victory for the Devils. The game winner just came on a perfect pass from Nico Hischier and a perfect shot from Jonas Siegenthaler. You can't do much about that. There wasn't a ton of shots both ways, but again, I just didn't see this from the Devils. I don't think they have it in them to win this series. I still believe the Rangers win in 6, or if it goes 7, win at 7 back at home. The big question for me right now, which I'm trying to get an answer to, is where the hell has Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad been this entire series? Both have 0 goals. Both only have 2 points. It's really Vladimir Tarasenko, Patrick Kane, the guys who they acquired at the trade deadline. Oh, yeah, Chris Kreider and Adam Fox doing their thing as well. But the trade deadline acquisitions are producing more than your top 2 guys offensively. That can't just happen. Those 2 guys need to step up and show up for Game 5 because they need to start getting some points on the board. And when I mean points, I mean goals. They need to start shooting the puck a lot more and shooting it to pick their target. They need to score some goals and get that 3-2 series lead because I have the Rangers in 6 in my NHL playoff bracket. And I hope they do because it will mean a lot to me as there's some money on the line. Of course, we're some degenerate gamblers over here. We will bet on everything we possibly can if it includes playoff hockey and regular season hockey. But let's get over to the Winnipeg Jets and Golden Knights matchup. Just wow. To me, this was probably the first round series I was least looking forward to, but it's been one of the best, actually. It's been back and forth. Obviously the Golden Knights got kind of embarrassed in Game 1 at home, but able to bounce back and win 3 straight. The Golden Knights now up 3-1 in their series as they head back to T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Golden Knights were able to hold on to a regulation win this time. But you know what? It's hard. It's hard for the Winnipeg Jets. You lost Josh Morrissey, one of the best defensemen this year, really a stepping out season for the guy. Game 4, you lose Mark Scheifele. He doesn't return. You don't know if he's back for Game 5 or even the remainder of the series. And a lot of guys for the Winnipeg Jets have stepped up. So I have to show them some love. Show some love to Neil Pionk, Blake Wheeler, Adam Lowry, who's been one of the best, probably the best player for the Winnipeg Jets, hitting, scoring, helping his teammates out and his goalie out wherever he possibly can. But again, it's been a back and forth series. The Golden Knights have just been able to take advantage of their opportunities on the power play. Jack Eichel stepping out, Mark Stone getting back into game action after missing a lot of time with injury. So it's good to see Jack Eichel and Mark Stone get back there. Definitely going to be keeping my eye on both of those players who fell down in fantasy drafts this past fantasy hockey season. So definitely keeping my eye on both guys for next year. I think everyone out there should be too. Maybe bump them up a little bit higher than what they were drafted at last year. Right now, though, Golden Knights up 3-1. Maple Leafs up 3-1. Rangers, Devils tied at 2 apiece. And the Avalanche and Kraken tied at 2 apiece in Game 4. The Colorado Avalanche still have a 2-1 series lead as I speak right now. They are tied 2-2 heading into overtime. So it's either going to be a tied series or it's going back to Colorado with the Avalanche up 3-1 in that series as well. But Seattle has been very great this series. I didn't think they were going to be outworked or ran over by the Avalanche by any means. This team has been very impressive all season long. And they're getting great goaltending out of Philip Grubauer right now. It seems like a revenge series, since he was a former Avalanche player a few years back. He's playing great. Guys like Daniel Sprong, Jared McCann, Vince Dunn, Jamie Alexeyev, just everybody on the team is playing their heart out right now, out shooting, out hitting, and out blocking the Colorado Avalanche team. And that's why they're in this series, because they are outworking the Avalanche. The Avalanche are kind of getting by just on talent alone right now. Alexander Goryev has not been great. Nathan McKinnon had an incredible Game 3. Mikko Rantanen is having an incredible Game 4 as we speak. But one of the highlights for the Seattle Kraken so far this postseason has been their ability to stay out of the penalty box. They've been great at staying out of the box, but they've also been great on the penalty kill, even when they take some unfortunate penalties. They are 8 for 9 on the penalty kill. The Avalanche just got their first power play goal in Game 4 from Mikko Rantanen. An absolute beautiful goal, might I say at that as well. But, it's just outworking it's outworking their opposition currently. The Seattle Kraken are no slouch. I knew they were going to be better. I didn't know it was going to be this good. And you look at guys like Matty Beniers, Jared McCann, guys who just work, Daniel Sprong, Justin Schultz on the back end, guys who just work their hearts out and play with so much passion. And that's what this Seattle Kraken team is all about. I got to show some love to Dave Haxtell as well behind the bench. He's done a fantastic job getting the Seattle team ready for the postseason. First postseason in franchise history, as it's only their second year in. Nonetheless, every single series so far has just been absolutely incredible. I'm so invested with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm so invested with the Minnesota Wild. I'm able to catch those late games, Vegas Jets, Avalanche, Kraken from time to time, catch the highlights the next morning. But there's a lot of great series out there. I hope all of your favorite teams are doing well. If they're not, maybe there's a comeback in chance. Maybe there's a chance next year if they get booted out soon. But the playoffs, man, you gotta love it. It's the best time of the year. Just so much passion, so much intensity, and I'm absolutely here for it. What you should be here for too as well, and what I'm here for is Game Time. This episode is also brought to you by Game Time. Have you ever really wanted to go to a game or a big event but couldn't find any last-minute tickets at a great price? Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. With Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all sports, music events, comedy shows, and theater shows near you. with killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best prices guaranteed, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for all the fun you're about to have. Game Time will be used many, many times this summer by myself on some BC Lion games, on some Vancouver Whitecap tickets. And when buying tickets so close to the game, to Game Time app has incredible prices like flash deals on last-minute tickets, and they also preview some images of the view from your seat as well. Game Time is amazing for spontaneous adventures. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on all the events. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. And the tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Well, listeners, in case you didn't get enough sports today, here's an ad break that'll tell you how to watch even more sports. YouTube is the new home of NFL Sunday Ticket. And if you sign up now, you'll get our lowest full season price of the year. Just go to youtube.com/Spotify offer to get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket. Watch your favorite teams' out-of-market Sunday afternoon games, exclusively on YouTube and YouTube TV. All right, enough about sports. Go get more sports. Terms and embargoes apply. Offer ends June 6th. No refunds.
And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. We do appreciate all the love, all the support. Make sure you keep on hammering that subscribe button. Hammer the follow button on your favorite podcast platform. Make sure you go leave a review too. We love all the reviews and the feedback from our listeners out there, and we appreciate all the comments, all the DMs in our Twitter feed as well. Let us know how your playoff bets are going, your NHL brackets. We appreciate all the conversations we have with our listeners out there. But let's get over to big time bets, where the money is made. And we're making some money so far this postseason. A couple of $20 bills coming back my way on some anytime goal scorers, money lines. Bo Horvat the other day got one for me. Still waiting for that Kirill Kaprizov. I've been betting it every single game. Last few games just hasn't worked out that way. Nonetheless, big time bets. Only 3 games on the schedule for Tuesday night. Boston Bruins, Florida Panthers getting an extra night off, heading back to Boston from Florida. Same goes for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Played Monday. They don't play until Thursday. They get an extra night off. But let's stick with the games that are happening Tuesday night. My first pick. This is just going with my gut. This is going with my NHL bracket. This is how it is. I'm taking the Wild on the money line against the Dallas Stars. They won on the road in game 1. They've been there so far every single game except for game 2 when Fleury was in. And even game 4, I've talked about it. Those 2 goals from Tyler Seguin just shouldn't have happened. Power play, the penalty shouldn't have happened. They were brutal calls. Nonetheless, I'm not going to get into that. Wild on the money line. That is my first pick of the night. Going over to that Carolina game. Islanders, Hurricanes under 6.5. The last 2 games have been over, but I'm going to go with the under 6.5. I think the Islanders are going to play a very stingy defensive game, and so are the Hurricanes. Antti Raanta has been stopping the pucks. I don't think he's been great, but he's stopping the pucks, and we know Ilya Sorokin can too. Excuse me there, but Islanders, Hurricanes under 6.5. I'm also leaning towards the Islanders on the money line. I don't think it's their time yet. I still believe they can win this playoff series, but they're going to have to. It's a huge ask on the road, as Carolina hasn't lost at home in the last 2 years, or once in the last 2 years. They are an incredible home team in the postseason. That's my second pick, Islanders, Hurricanes, under 6.5. And if you're feeling the Islanders, take them on the money line. Lock of the night, Oilers on the money line against the LA Kings. Incredible comeback the other day, down 3-0 in the first period. Again, incredible comeback from another Canadian team. They win 5-4 in overtime as well. I've got Oilers on the money line. They're back home in game 5. Just Draisaitl is a different beast right now. I'm not sure if Jack Campbell stays in net, if they return back to Stuart Skinner. Nonetheless, Draisaitl has been incredible. Zach Hyman is working his butt off every single game, and he got the game winner the other day as well. Oilers money line, that is my lock of the night. Those are the 3 picks for Tuesday. I hope you pick some. Let us know how your bets go out there, and thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Again, make sure you're tuning in the rest of the week and the rest of the playoffs. Check out your favorite Locked On hosts across the platform as well. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode. Have a great day. Good luck with all your bets out there, and we shall see you back here again tomorrow. Peace.
Buying tickets to see your favorite NHL team shouldn't be stressful. That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get images of your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. You can buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Grand slams, no-hitters, and double plays are back, and there's no better place to get in on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's because right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up, place your first bet, and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win. So don't miss your chance to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball.
The following message was written by ChatGPT.
Get the inside scoop on everything NHL playoffs with Locked On NHL. Join our expert hosts as they break down the latest news, games, and predictions. From the hottest players to the biggest upsets, we've got you covered. Don't miss a beat this postseason. Locked On NHL. Available on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.